Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that has been a source of endless debate, controversy, and even humor, the age-old question of men versus women. We are about to journey into this provocative discussion, exploring its roots, its impact, and its significance in our societal conversations. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Now, let's jump right in. In the 21st century, one of the most controversial yet strangely amusing questions is, who is the best, men or women? Now, before we dive headfirst into this vast sea of debate, let's take a moment to understand the gravity of this question. It's a question that's been asked for centuries in various forms and forums, from casual dinner table conversations to scientific symposiums. The answer, however, is not as simple as picking a side. It's not a competition. It's not a matter of superiority. It's about understanding the fundamental differences that exist between men and women, and how these differences are shaped by a multitude of factors. One of the most significant factors is societal roles and expectations. From the moment we're born, society begins to mold us. We're given toys, clothes, and roles that reflect societal norms. Boys are given trucks and told to be strong, while girls are given dolls and told to be nurturing. These early impressions can have a lasting impact, influencing our behavior, our careers, our relationships, and our identities. As we grow older, these societal expectations continue to shape us. They influence our educational choices, career paths, and even our emotional response to situations. Men are often pressured to be stoic, to suppress their feelings, while women are taught to be empathetic and expressive. But it's important to remember that these are generalizations, not universal truths. Not all men are emotionally reserved, and not all women are emotionally expressive. We are, after all, individuals with our own unique blend of traits, experiences, and influences. The truth is, men and women are not equal. They're different, and that's okay. It's not just about biology. It's about the societal roles and expectations that shape our perspectives from childhood. These differences should not be used to justify discrimination or inequality, but rather to foster understanding and respect for the rich tapestry of human experience. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to navigate this complex journey called life. Men and women have different emotional and thinking processes, not as an inborn quality, but as a result of societal influences during upbringing. Let's unpack this. From early childhood, boys and girls are subtly encouraged to fit into certain roles. The toys they play with, the books they read, the games they engage in, it all contributes to the development of their emotional and cognitive abilities. Boys are often encouraged to be strong, independent, and competitive, while girls are taught to be nurturing, cooperative, and empathetic. These societal influences don't stop at childhood. They continue into adulthood, shaping our careers, relationships, and even how we deal with stress. Men, traditionally expected to be the breadwinners, are often more goal-oriented and competitive. They tend to take risks and are more likely to keep their emotions under wraps. Women, on the other hand, are generally more collaborative and empathetic. They tend to express their emotions more openly and are often better at multitasking. These aren't inherent differences between men and women, but rather, they are learned behaviors and emotional responses, shaped by the societal expectations we've been exposed to since birth. It's a fascinating interplay between nature and nurture, biology and society. But here's the catch. These are broad generalizations, and they don't apply to every individual. People are complex, and they don't fit neatly into boxes. We all have a mix of traditionally masculine and feminine traits. Some men are emotional and nurturing, while some women are competitive and risk-taking. And that's perfectly okay. It's what makes us unique as individuals. What's more, these differences aren't fixed. As society evolves, so do our roles and expectations. We're seeing more and more men taking on caregiving roles and more women in leadership positions. This blurring of traditional gender roles is a positive step towards equality and understanding. The comparison between the two is vast and often distributed unevenly across the world. It's crucial to recognize and respect these differences. We need to understand that these differences aren't about superiority or inferiority. They're simply different ways of experiencing the world. And the more we respect and value these differences, the closer we get to understanding each other. So, what's the simple answer to this age-old debate? Well, it's time to steer away from the stereotypical binaries and acknowledge the fact that we are all humans first. The question shouldn't be, who's better, men or women? But rather, how can we be better humans? Let's cast aside the gender-based comparisons, the societal expectations, and the preconceived notions that fuel this debate. Instead, let's focus on the qualities that make us good humans. Empathy, compassion, understanding, respect. These are the traits that truly matter. In this complex world, being a good human is a simple solution. It's about acknowledging our differences but not letting them divide us. It's about understanding that our strengths and weaknesses are not dictated by our gender, but by our individual experiences and choices. Imagine a world where we respect each other for who we are, not what we are expected to be. A world where we don't judge based on gender, but appreciate the unique qualities each one of us brings to the table. This world might seem like a utopian dream, but it isn't unachievable. Every step towards understanding and respect is a step towards this goal. Every time we choose empathy over prejudice, every time we embrace differences rather than shunning them, we are making progress. It's a long journey, but every journey begins with a single step. So let's make a conscious effort to be better humans. Let's strive to understand, to respect, to empathize. Because at the end of the day, it's not about men versus women. It's about us versus prejudice. And if we stand united, prejudice doesn't stand a chance. It boils down to being a good human. If each of us strives to be better, to understand and to respect one another, perhaps in 50 years, we won't even be asking this question anymore. Let's face it, change is challenging, and the likelihood of everyone becoming a good human is slim. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's the hard truth. The age-old debate of men versus women feels like a game of tug-of-war. It's back and forth with no clear winner in sight. So let's get real and acknowledge the elephant in the room. We're living in a world that's rapidly changing, yet we're holding on to old norms, beliefs, and stereotypes. This tug-of-war is constant, unending. It's a cycle of arguments, a cycle of debates, a cycle of comparisons. And while these discussions can be enlightening, they can also be exhausting. They divide us rather than uniting us. They create chasms instead of bridges. Change is difficult. It means letting go of our comfort zones, our ingrained beliefs. It means opening our minds, challenging our perceptions, and embracing new perspectives. But how many of us are truly ready to do that? How many are willing to step outside their bubbles, to question the status quo, to become a better version of themselves? The reality is, not many. It's easier to remain in our comfort zones, to hold on to our preconceived notions, to resist change. But by doing so, we're only perpetuating the debate, fueling the fire. The question of men versus women continues to echo, unanswered and unresolved. But here's a twist. In 100 years, the world might be too damaged, society too fragmented for this question even to matter. The planet we inhabit could be on the brink of collapse, teetering on the edge of a precipice. And at that point, the question won't be about men versus women. It will be about survival, about humanity, about saving our world. So the next time you find yourself caught in this debate, remember, the real challenge isn't about proving who's better, men or women. The real challenge is becoming a better human, a better inhabitant of this world. Because in the end, that's what truly matters. So, the choice is yours. Keep debating endlessly or strive to be a good human. The endless discourse of men versus women, the comparisons, the stereotypes, they all seem to be ingrained in our collective consciousness. It's a familiar echo, bouncing back and forth through the centuries, shaping our narratives and our identities. But the question remains, is it serving us any good? Arguably, our energy could be better spent. Instead of pitting ourselves against each other, we could be working together, building a society that values understanding over division, empathy over indifference, and acceptance over judgment. Imagine a world where being a good human isn't the exception but the norm. Sure, it's a lofty goal, and perhaps it seems a tad idealistic. But isn't it worth striving for? If we each take responsibility, if we each make a conscious effort to be more understanding, more compassionate, more respectful, we just might tip the scales. We might turn the tide of this endless debate and redirect our collective energy towards something more constructive, more meaningful. In the end, that might be the only factor that truly counts. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next video. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and above all, be a good human. All the best.